Hi guys, welcome back. So in this video, we will be talking about a topic that gets debated about a lot. It is on the question if guys and girls can be just friends. One side seems to think yes, they can, and people who think otherwise are jealous, insecure, or controlling, and the other side seems to think it is not that simple. So this video is not going to be necessarily like just our opinion, just our experiences, because I feel like we do that so much, but just kind of talking a little bit about what we've noticed on both sides of this argument, or I know there's other sides, but like the main sides of this argument of yes and no. So first off, I want to say I have this theory that maybe people that are neurodivergent, and again, I don't want to make claims that are not backed up by research and say things that are a little out there, but I feel like people who are neurodivergent or have like a different way of processing things, thinking things, are maybe more likely to be able to have opposite gender friends. And I had this theory, and when I searched it up, there was actually some backing to that. So maybe that's one thing, like maybe the way they see things. But when it comes to neurotypical people, one side wants to argue, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, and if you feel like they can't be friends, and that just means that you actualize people on both sides, or like girl or guy, or you can't control yourself, or you're desperate, or you're lonely, or whatever. And then another side seems to think that no, because of human nature or because of biology, straight friends, like straight people, can be friends. This was debated also on our live streams, and there seems to be kind of like a split opinion, but I think it was leaning more towards no, or like it would bother them, but if they were in a relationship. Like, I think if somebody's in a relationship, it would bother somebody, but if they're not, it's a different story.
I think it's like 50-50 or
But they say usually girls have more of an inclination to be able to see the guy as the friend. I want to say that this is very subjective on an individual basis. Like, for example, I've been able to have friends before and not see them as anything more than friends. But some people, maybe it was in this case. And again, I'm not talking about when you're in a relationship. I'm talking when you're not in a relationship. And I think in those cases, it's really case by case in a subjective basis. I feel like people that are alone and a little bit desperate for connection are more likely to maybe fall in love with people that they become friends with. When someone is given attention and they've been attention starved for a long time, or touch starved, they may hold on to that and cling on to that tighter when maybe your intention was just to be friendly. Also, things get lost in translation and communication, and sometimes intent is assumed, or there is a miscommunication because one person isn't communicating with the other person about their true feelings, and things are being assumed, or just because I see it in this way, you must see it in this way, which isn't always true, as we know. But for people that maybe get more attention, like maybe they've grown up getting a lot of attention from people, or they're used to people wanting to be their friends or being with them, even if they didn't like that attention, they're maybe more able to see people as friends because they're not as like desperate for that connection. It's like, maybe this is a stupid analogy, but it's like if you give $100 to a millionaire versus a homeless person, and the millionaire, like, the money represents the attention, because some people, like I said, they're alone and they don't get much attention. I hope this is coming out right, that anybody who shows some sort of concern for them, they might cling on to them, and that being a good or bad thing is very subjective. I mean, people are vulnerable in those positions, and you have to be very careful when you are alone or when you feel isolated, because sometimes you might cling on to the wrong people because you just are missing that. And it's sad. Like, I feel like we do have an epidemic of people that feel lonely and are touch starved, attention starved, and it's sad. It's not right, guys. It's not right. Okay, I don't condone this at all, and I wish we didn't have this problem. And again, this is kind of like a speculation theory of mine. They're more likely to be able to see people platonically because they're kind of like used to that. It's not like a foreign concept. I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. I think that people can truly just be friends if, like, they're not attracted to each other, they don't have the same values, morals, interests, or personality as a baseline usually, but it's a case-by-case subjective basis. It really depends how you see it. So guys, this was my opinion when they're not in a relationship. Now, when they're in a relationship, that's when it gets tricky, because if there is a girl or guy best friend, it can make your partner feel insecure, makes them feel worried, makes them feel like what's going on, and it doesn't sit right with a lot of people. So there is like a difference there. So E, what do you want to say to any of these? Like, if they're not in a relationship or they are, what's your opinion?
Well, it gets a bit tricky because, that's how things start off when you're single too. Because if you think about it, why do you think there's this whole thing about from friends to lovers, type of thing? So I think they can be friends when, they're single, because, I mean, you're not tied down to anybody. First of all, you shouldn't be tied down anyways in a relationship, right? But you're not really like committed to anybody. So yeah, you can be, friends, and if you are into dating, you can, look for your options or whatever, right? Because it's not anyone's fault if they catch feelings, but I feel like people have to be honest about it. It's all right to catch feelings.
I found it interesting what E said about the friends to lovers, because some people don't actually start off as friends. They just go right into the quote unquote dating. So it really depends. Like, girls and guys can be friends. I was just trying to say earlier that if they are attracted to each other and they have similar personality, interests, morals, values, whatever, likely somebody will like the other person. Likely. That's what I was trying to say. I need to clarify that, because I'm not here telling people what to do. I'm saying what will likely happen, but I'm for sure an advocate of saying that you can see people as just friends, because from my experience, obviously I've done that, so I can say it is to be true. Whether or not minority majority opinion, I don't really care, guys, because you know what, I think there's a lot of people that actually have had just platonic friends, and whether it's more girls, maybe, I don't know, but I think that's it. So in our opinion, it is subjective and it is a case-by-case basis situation. So E and I agree that it is a subjective case-by-case basis. I think people that say they absolutely cannot be friends are not really considering all factors of it, and some people that maybe are blind to the possibility of somebody liking them like that are kind of trying to deny that. I kind of used to be one of them, but I think we have to realize both perspectives are important in the friendship, and you should communicate that with them.
And piggyback off what Alessia said, it's all up to the individual, right? And if they're honest and true with themselves and the other person.
Yeah, so that is all for this video, guys. Let me know down below. What do you guys think? Have you guys ever had a guy best friend or a girl best friend or opposite gender best friend? What do you guys think of this topic? What do you guys think? And let us know down below, guys. Please keep it civil. Again, I will not reply to comments that are personal attacks and derailing the conversation. And that is all for this video. I don't want to see any, oh, women this and women. No. I know I'm a woman, but you don't need to attack all of us for making these kinds of videos, okay? Thanks, guys, so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.